Hello. Just wait till some people tune in. Might as well fix my giant mane. Wow, it looks long now. Holy crap. Okay, well. I finally got my hunting license. And I have a tag for license for whitetail. We've gone out twice now. Seen nothing. Driving back from Grand Prairie at night, we saw a huge moose in the pitch black, like a wall. And we saw whitetail yesterday wiggling its butt at us and then running into the woods where it would be really hard to catch it. So, probably go out again tomorrow. Hopefully get one. Be nice to get something other than chickens or fish or crab. I'm just gonna wait until more people tune in and then I'll start channeling and hopefully there's more questions. I know Rocky wants more info on certain questions because he always wants more than other people seem to want. I like point form, he likes essays, so we'll just wait a few minutes. If you look in this mug, it says, "Hooray, it's today." And I love it. Just a little positive affirmation first thing in the morning. I'm drinking Carrot Cupcake by David's Tea. Really good. It was sold out for weeks. So I was very happy to get some. Just waiting for this video to pop up on my page so I can see any questions. So my phone sometimes shows me, it sometimes doesn't. Oh, okay. Now I can see my video. So I'm gonna bring Seth through. And any questions about money, relationships, health, the economy, politics, Seth will help us with. Okay, give me 1 second. Hello. Any questions? Send them in the comments, including you, Rocky. And until then, for those of you who are wondering why the winter is so mild, it has nothing to do with global warming. That's the thing scientists made up to explain this phenomena they can't explain. It's simply that people want warmer weather, so they're receiving warmer weather. And they're asking the right way. They're not dreading winter. Oh, winter's going to be this awful cold thing until spring comes. They are asking for a warm winter, warm weather, an enjoyable winter. And so, because they're asking properly, that is what they're getting. They're not, you know, they're not dreading winter. They're asking for a warm, easy, mild winter. Trappers want cold winter, but you can still have cold with warm. You don't have to have, you know, -40 to have a warm, enjoyable winter that still allows you to trap good fur. With health, there's no such thing as a flu or a cold. Again, this is something doctors made up to try and explain what that is. And you can't catch things from others, but you can have negative influences in your life. So, or you can take on the beliefs of someone close to you. So if you believe that something can be contagious, then it will be. If you believe, I am my own person, I am in perfect health, being sick is not something that I need or want to experience, you won't. Unless you go down a negative path. And then you might take on negative energy that's around you and become sick, because that's how it manifests physically. But it is not something everyone needs to experience. So you can experience being sick once, or you can experience being sick never. So it's just what you're looking for. Sometimes kids want to be sick so they can have a day off from school. Sometimes people want to be sick because they're workaholics and they need a day off from work. Sometimes people just want others to take care of them. But there's no such thing as a flu or a flu season. It's not like this once a year thing where everybody gets sick. It's the belief that in the fall people get sick, so people let that happen. It's pharmaceutical companies wanting to sell cold medication to make money. It's doctors needing patients, so they need money. It's clinics needing patients, so they can have money. But no person needs to experience that. You're not here in physical to be sick. You can experience other things. So, if you do become sick, just know that you can release it, knowing that there's no such thing as a flu or a cold. You can say, okay, well, I've had this flu, I've been sick, but I don't want it anymore, so it's time for you to go now. And you can get rid of it that easily.
Take me as questions. Excuse me. Excuse me. Why is the weather so warm right now? Like, why hasn't it gotten
Were you listening for the last
cold?
10 minutes?
No, I missed it. Sorry.
That's exactly what I talked about.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I'll discuss that with you later.
Because people are asking for warmer, easier winters. They realize they don't need a negative 40 winter to have winter.
Absolutely.
More or less is what it is. Not global warming.
Yeah. What is it? Okay, I've got a question for you. What is the ideal body weight for a person? I know they've got doctors have their tools that they use to determine a healthy body weight for a person, certain height, certain age, and what have you. But what would you say is a healthy weight for a person to have?
Well, weight was not something that was ever measured before. It's a very modern thing. And it's just a number. Like, someone who weighs 140 pounds and is 5 feet could be healthier than someone who weighs 110 pounds and is 5'3". So it's just a number. It's not important. You shouldn't even focus on weight. You should focus on being healthy. Just, I want to resemble my best physical self. I want to be in the best physical shape. I want to feel healthy and I want to feel good. I want to feel energized. And then throw your scales out because they're stupid. And like when Randy measured herself and then didn't like the number, measured herself 2 seconds later and it was 5 pounds difference. She knew it was just a made up thing. So rely on how you look in the mirror, not what number is shown on a scale.
Just to expand on that, what if somebody looked in the mirror and didn't like what they seen?
Then print off a picture of you at an ideal body weight. If you don't have one, print off a picture of a body you like, put your head on it, keep it in your wallet or keep it on your fridge or in your mirror, back of your door, whatever, and look at that. And the more you look at that instead of what is, that's what you will become. Because that's what you're focusing on.
Okay. What would you say to somebody that did that and felt negativity from staring at the picture?
If you can't look at the picture, if that doesn't work, then just go outside more. Go for walks. If you're at an airport, instead of taking the flat escalator or the escalator, take the stairs, walk. Never sit for more than an hour and a half. Always get up and do something. Even folding the laundry takes effort. Putting clothes up in shelves takes effort. And it doesn't feel like exercise, so it's something physical you can do without realizing that you're doing any good for your body. It's just kind of effortless. If you have a dog, take your dog for a walk. Call up a friend, go volunteer and walk some dogs at a shelter. Go hang out with grandkids or neighbors' kids or whatever. Just do things where you're moving and where you're outside.
Okay.
At some point, you have to be able to look at a picture of a body that you want positively in order to achieve it. If you only ever look at that body and think negatively of it, you will never get that body. So there'll be a point where something clicks, or you lose enough weight, or whatever, where you can finally look at that body and know that it's within your grasp and that it's not out of reach anymore.
Just to expand on that some more, there's that thing that people always bring up is the last 10 pounds.
That's a made up thing by trainers because they want to be hired. So they've made it seem like this big difficult thing, which people often play into, but why should it be any harder to lose 10 pounds when you've already lost 100? If I've lost 100, why can't I lose 10 more? Logically, it doesn't make sense.
What causes it besides the trainer? So, like, is if somebody's just working out on their own and
Well, other
loses,
people might think like it's over. If you finally get to that perfect weight, well, then you have to maintain it. But if you're constantly still needing to lose 10 pounds, then you're still working towards it. You're not just trying to keep it. There's no fear of, okay, well, I've reached here, but now I've gained 5 pounds, so I've failed. You can't fail if you haven't gotten there. So people subconsciously put it on themselves, too, that they're continually on their diet, on their exercise regime to get there.
okay,
But once you get there, then you realize it's actually quite easy to stay there.
okay. What would you? That was very good. That was very clear. Why is it that some of the main things that do come up with people are their bodies, are their finances?
Because you're here in physical. Part of that is having a physical body. People want to know how to get the physical body that they want. Because in this age, it's been made out like it's a difficult thing to have. Finances, because people seem to think there's this pot and you could only have so much. And in order to have lots, others have to have little. And they don't understand that Source is this infinite amount and that everybody can function within society and have lots and lots of money. But because it's been made out to be this limited thing, people seem to struggle. And people get set on, well, this is my income, this is how much I make a year, this is how much I can spend until I get a raise, until I win the lottery, until my parents die and I get inheritance. They don't realize that you can always have more. They put limits on it, and then that screws it up.
Okay. What would you say to somebody that has been asking and asking and asking for something, and to have it not
Like a house, silly?
manifest? Well, anything, be it that or
You're not waiting patiently, eagerly. You're defeated about it. You're not trusting that it's going to come. You're just hoping but not really believing. So if that happens, start with something smaller. Do the thing where tomorrow I want to see 2 ducks. And intend for that, and then tomorrow wait until you see 2 ducks. Or I want to see a set of twins. Or I want to see a really big white dog. And then once you see that can happen and how easy that is, think, well, I put no energy pretty much to that. So why the hell can't this thing that I want come to me when I put so much energy to it? When you go to bed, ask, I want to be shown in a clear way that I remember what is the final step to getting what I want, to allowing what I want to come to me. And then go to bed, wake up, write it down as soon as you get up, and then do that thing.
Okay. Where do, on another topic, where do nightmares come from?
It's like a made-up saying. It's it's your fears manifesting, and it's, this, a lot of religion was based in dreams, and it's used as like a fear thing. So if you don't go to church and pray every day, God will punish you in your dreams. Well, God's not really there to punish. So that's the first flaw. But then it's this like fear-mongering control thing where, well, then someone has a dream because they're told they will, and then they have a bad experience, so then they go to church to fix it, and because of their belief, well, now they don't have nightmares anymore. But kids too, because of the influence from adults, will get them. There's this belief that lots of sugar or alcohol gives you really weird dreams, so then people have weird dreams. And if you don't address something in your daily life, like say you're really fearful of losing your job, well, then it's going to manifest into a nightmare so that it can have a physical outlet, because you won't talk about it, acknowledge it, try and work on it. So then you'll have a dream where maybe, I don't know, you get chased by an ex-murderer and you wake up horrible. So it's just like a physical manifestation of something you're not dealing with, or your belief that it's a part of life.
How can you figure out what it means, though? Like, why does it have to be some goofy dream that you don't understand? And then you wake up and you think, well, what does that mean?
Because there's a belief that dreams aren't literal, that they have to be interpreted. But that's why you can ask to be shown in a clear and obvious way. And if you have some nightmare, well, then you can do automatic writing about, well, what does it mean? And you can go to bed the next night and say, I didn't understand that. Show me the same concept, but in a clear, obvious way to me that I remember.
Okay. Could you not just ask to be only shown dreams that are clear, and get rid of all the nightmares, get rid of all the confusing dreams, and just only have positive, very clear and understanding dreams?
Yes.
Okay. How would one do that?
I want to have clear, positive dreams. I only want to have dreams that I understand. Dreams that need to be interpreted are not for me. I only want literal, lifelike, obvious dreams that I understand effortlessly and remember, because that is what is most beneficial to me.
Okay. And you just got to say that once?
If you actually believe it. You might have to write it out a few times and read it a few times to yourself.
Okay. Okay, on another note, well, what could you give somebody? I'm sure there's a lot of people out there, and people blame it on the economy and all this other stuff, that are struggling day to day to make their commitments that they've signed up for, whether it be mortgages, rentals, your rent, your truck payments, vehicle payments, and even just surviving. Um, what information could you give those people that feel that they have absolutely at the end of their string and they just can't fulfill any of their commitments? What kind of information would you give them to get them heading, being more clear, I guess, and allowing what they would rather have? Obviously, they'd be getting the lack of what they want. So, how could they shift that around and get some momentum going in the right direction? I guess.
Identity fraud. Sign up for 45 credit cards. You can't get lots of money while thinking, I have too many bills to pay. So, you have to think, I have money in the bank, but I want more. I have things that I've manifested, but I want more. I've paid my bills before, but I want to pay all of them on time. And if you're not making the wage that you want, start looking for a new job while appreciating aspects about your current one. What is it that you like about your job? What is it that you like but also want more of? We want more money, so go look for a job that has more money. Maybe you have a job that you do here, but if you did it over in England, you could make double. And maybe you have a bunch of stuff that you don't really need that's piling around, and you could kill two birds with one stone and declutter your house and sell a bunch of stuff. Maybe you've had an idea for a book, or you wanted to start building furniture and selling it, or whatever. We'll start doing that. Instead of just coming home, having dinner, watching TV, start doing something creative that could lead to money. Maybe take out a loan just so that you have access to more funds, so that you feel like you have a lot more money than you currently do. Once you get all this money, what are you going to do with it? Are you going to invest it? Are you going to buy stocks? Are you going to put into savings, RSPs, savings accounts for your kids, pay off credit cards? Like, what are you going to do? Write out your plan so that when the money comes, you can follow through with it. If you've had more money before, just think, what was I doing differently then? How do I get there? And if you want more money, you have to stop thinking you want it because you have a lack of it. You just want it because it's more fun to have more money, because it's easier to do things, and you have more options, there's more things available to you. You can go on vacation without any guilt. You could buy a second vehicle. You could buy a new wardrobe, build like a meditation hut. You could build a garage. You could buy whatever you want. So you can't see money as, well, I need it to get out of debt. I want more money because it's more fun and it's more relaxing, it's more enjoyable to have money.
Okay. What kind of information could you give somebody that they say that there's homelessness is going up and up and up in this economy? So, I mean, if this information doesn't get to homeless people, but what about the people that gotta see it every day, that see the people on the corners that are begging for money and just seem to be in a rut that they can't get out of? Like, what kind of information could you give to the people that see that? And obviously you tracked what you, everything into your experience, but what information could they pass on to, say, someone that was homeless? Law of attraction information that would benefit them, benefit both sides.
Well, a homeless person's not going to hear much. Especially on the streets. But if it's somebody who maybe is in a shelter or at a soup kitchen and you're sitting down, you know, same level, chatting, and they say something that, you know, maybe they use the word manifest or something just piques you into knowing that they are ready to hear it. You're not going to get through if you tell them you attract everything to yourself, because they'll think, wow, the hell did I attract being homeless? But there are some people who came here for the experience of being homeless. Some people who wanted to go to the very bottom and then have to figure out how to rebuild themselves. Some people who just were in bad situations, negative influences around them, and they can't figure out how to get back up because they don't have a support system and no one will give them a chance and it's difficult. But like by giving them a book or showing them The Secret or any of that, it's just going to be an overload. But basically, if you tell them, like, you know, like, if you were to give them a book of affirmations, something simple like that, like, thoughts become things, or your vibe attracts your tribe, I am where I am and that's okay. What do I have right now, but where do I want? Okay, well, let's get there. And so, if you start teaching them more about being positive, and, you know, a positive vibration will lift you up and will get you what you need, that's going to stick with them. You know, maybe they're looking for a job. Well, what do you need to get this job? You need, you know, a proper outfit. You need to be clean shaven. You know, there's places where they give haircuts for free and they shave people, and there's places that donate business clothes for interviews and help people with resumes, and there's people who will hire, you know, ex-cons or people who are homeless at, you know, entry-level jobs so that they can gain some experience. And then once they have a job under their belt, it's like this huge shift, because suddenly, well, maybe they're still homeless, sleeping at a shelter at night, but now they have an income. Now they have something to look forward to, because now they can start saving and getting, you know, some subsidized low-income apartment, and then just keep going up and up. So you have to keep it very basic, just like basic positive affirmations, because any more information than that, it's too much. And then once they've gotten a job, they've got an apartment, they're no longer, you know, homeless, they're just kind of low income and they're just continuing to work up, then that's when a book might come into their experience and be useful to them.
Right. Okay. Some of the things, though, too, that you see people that are law of attraction coaches, and they claim to have been homeless and stuff before, but yet you still see all this. I don't tend to see it as much. I don't really run into it. It's just questions that are coming to me. You still see it, and the cities that they live in are just ripe with it. So it.
Well, like in East Hastings in Vancouver, there's a huge section of homeless people. Lots of them are drugged out, AIDS, no hope, mentally ill. Well, those are the people who aren't really going to be able to ever get work. There are more people who need programs that can take them in, but the cities haven't implemented these programs yet because it's basically like adult babysitting. Like, they're never going to get money out of it. All it would do is provide jobs, but it would take a cut out of taxes because these people, even if you get them off the drugs, lots of them are mentally ill, so what they can do is very minimal. But they could, take care of themselves. They could, run a garden at the center, help in the kitchen. There's all sorts of stuff they could do, but people just don't see the potential. The Olympics, brought to light East Hastings, but, after the Olympics, it just kind of went to the back burner again. Homelessness isn't a thing that happens in other communities because it's seen as wrong to let somebody live outside like an animal and suffer. So people are taken in, given food, put to work, and then once they're able to support themselves again, they go off on their own. But it's just become this common thing now where there's really, really rich people and then there's people who are suffering and who are poor. So, and then once you get drugs involved, that really screws people's lives up. So if there were no drugs around, they were all eradicated, you'd see the homeless population drop. And if people with mental illness were, had someplace they could go, they used to have mental hospitals and stuff. If there's somewhere like that where they could go and live, then you'd cut a huge population out. There's runaways who, if they were taken into, youth shelters and educated and helped to find work, well then, so wouldn't have a homeless population anymore. But some people come for that experience, and then others just get in this negative down spiral, and they get on drugs, and they're mentally ill, and they can't get out of it. So, for now, you're usually going to have, in these huge big cities, homeless people. And the ones who want to get out of it will come in to people who can, tell them simple things like, positivity brings greater results than negativity, and thoughts become things, and what you focus on grows. And just putting those little bits of information into their experience will help them to come out of it.
Okay.
Hey, Brenda says, sorry I'm late. I'm trying to understand that we can live our lives in parallel universes and we can co-join at least 3 of them at death. How does that work and why? You can ask to see your other lives in your dreams to understand what's happening to you right now. At death, a lot is revealed. Often people will find after they've transitioned and they're welcomed by their welcoming committee, and they'll find that all of a sudden they have floods of different languages come in, well, these different languages are all from different experiences, and it just wouldn't make sense to people at this time to grow up and then all of a sudden know Chinese, because where the hell did you learn Chinese? You can't just learn a language. So for now, you only know the languages that you teach yourselves or are taught. But at, death, you are awakened to what actually is, and slowly your guides will, let you know more and more, and things will become clearer, and you'll start to remember what it is you forgot when you came here. And you'll be able to tap in to not just 3, but more parallel lives, because you have many at once. And it's just because it has to be after you transition out of physical, because it's too confusing at this point to understand multiple personalities, multiple lives. But in your life now, at any, not major, but bigger crossing, you branch off into separate lives. So, Trump, the election's really easy. So in one life, Trump wins. In one life, Clinton wins. And in another life, nobody wins, and Obama stays until a new person runs, because nobody wants either of them. So you've already got 3 lives right there. If you go into the bathroom and you decide, I'm going to floss my teeth today, I'm not going to floss my teeth, well, you don't branch into 2 different lives based just on that, unless your decision not to floss would influence a big decision later, which would set off a chain of different events. So there's constantly these decisions being made throughout the day that are creating hundreds of other worlds and lives at the same time. And because your source is so big, you have enough energy to put into all of these different hundreds of lives. And at death, you might not be able to tap into, all 1,000 of them, but you can tune into a hell of a lot more than you can right now.
Just to expand on that, can you be shown your other lives in dreams, say?
Yes.
Can you meet your other personalities in dreams as well?
They would be in disguise. You wouldn't have a dream and see yourself, or see, you wouldn't see a mirror image of you, and you wouldn't see, you maybe a bit slimmer and taller and with darker hair, but you could ask to be seen another one of your personalities, and they would show it to you as a different image. Okay, Brenda, how do each of our experiences help the universe expand? The more you tune in to Source and understand Source and ask, anticipate, knowing that you'll receive, and then manifest and receive, you're using the laws of attraction, you're using the laws of what is, and the more and more you do it, the more you influence those around you, even if it is subconsciously, into being able to attract what it is that they want, and even just knowing how to ask for what they want. If you are a positive, powerful creator, you're going to rub off on others around you. You're going to attract more who are like that to you. And it's just going to keep going and going and going. If you are asking for the economy to flourish, for the world to do well, for peace to come to all those around you, and you keep asking and you keep creating it, it keeps going. So you can't Sorry, I'm just getting a question here. You attracting what you want is always going to benefit. And like, you can't negatively impact the world, I guess, unless you're in a huge position of power and you do something insane. But just by you understanding the law of attraction, you're expanding the thinking of the universe. By practicing it, you continue to do that. By, sharing what you've done with others, by teaching others, it just keeps going and going and going. So anything that you do, you're helping. I'm just trying to paste Eva's question, but it doesn't want to post. Let's try it again. Okay, Brenda. So each parallel life is each expanding simultaneously. That is crazy to imagine, but I get it. Whoa. Yes, there's multiple simultaneous lives. And it is a lot. That's why you can't really tap into all of it at this time, but you can in a dream, or if you're somebody who like Jane, where you're out-of-body experiences, then you can kind of tap into it a little bit at a time. Okay, Eva. I noticed Seth is interactive, has Randy channels, which is somewhat unusual from the original way he came through. Any reason why? That's the same thing with the tone of voice. Jane and Esther are both like at the forefront, and they needed something obvious to them to know that it wasn't them making it up, or just like wanting it so bad that they were creating it themselves. Randy did not want to sound like a man, so she did not want her voice to change, so that's why her voice doesn't change. The only difference people really notice is her eyes will kind of close more and they become a different color, and the pupils are a different size, and obviously the movements and, the vocabulary. But Jane was not comfortable with moving a lot. That's why she would usually just stand and pace or sit in a rocking chair. It just wasn't for her. But it's like more accepted now. You've got people with TV shows. There's like multiple ones. There's probably a whole category online where now it's normal to do this. Like April Crawford, who does her out-of-body experiences where she sits and has somebody come through and write a letter. Like, she could film that and people would see it and know that it was somebody else, a different energy. And when Esther goes on stage, she obviously talks and interacts with people who are coming up to ask questions. Well, she obviously has to move. Even if her movement isn't like walking around and circling the room, she is standing there and talking and presenting. So now is the time where it's easy for an energy to move a body and it not be totally out there. Because after Randy's gone, say in 200 years I'm back, it's going to be a new person, a new personality. Maybe they don't want the voice change, but they want really animated movements or really subtle movements or like whatever. This is based on like the host. Okay.
Just to expand on that, Seth, you say 200 years from now, and but as we all know, time well, as we're told, all time is now. So does that already exist? You're already teaching
Yes.
on this earth 200 years from now, and that has played over already before, many times, obviously. Can you just expand on that a little bit?
Like me teaching or what?
No, just how that sort of works. Like, because when you hear it from,
Imagine you had a time machine. Let's just type this out. Okay. So if you are teaching 200 from now and have done that many times, how does that work? So imagine you have a time machine and you can use it whenever. So you go back 100 years, you go forward 3,000 years, wherever. You can just do it like that. Well, then if you have this machine, all time is now. If, there's some good movies out there like, what's it called? I think The Philosophers. It's like a British film, and it's this philosophy class, and it's the end of the world scenario, and there's a bunker. There's 20 of them, but only 10 can survive in this bunker for 6 months, and then have to try and regain humanity back. And they play out these different versions based on who they put in there. Well, all versions can occur at the same time, and then they're all occurring now. There's that other movie, Cloud Atlas, with the different lives of each personality throughout the years, and they cross over a few points. Well, they're living different lives at the same time. So there's just like this timeline to logically put things together for you, because people don't understand that something can happen, but then you can tap back into it, or you can fly forward and tap into something ahead and then fly back. It doesn't work with the human mind, so you have these timelines and time frames just so that you can work it out. But there's different people living each year at different times.
okay.
Okay. Are there more energies waiting to speak to oh wait, okay. Can you do automatic writing with other parallel selves? Yes, but only once you have done a lot of automatic writing. It's very like second nature to you. And you have to be like mentally ready for it, because it really screws with some people's minds. So yes, you can. Are there more energies waiting to speak to us? Abraham and Seth and Veronica and people who are mediums who channel past loved ones and friends. All of those people want to speak. Of course, there are others. There are younger energies who are trying to come through. There are older energies. There are energies with lots and lots of experience. Some who have less experience but are more in tune with kind of what people are asking for. There's lots who want to come through, and eventually they all will. But for now, people need just like a few main teachers so that all the information people are using and quoting is by the same person, because then it seems valid. But eventually there'll be, like 100 teachers who are quoted regularly, who are all giving you the same information in a different way, and then that will be normal. Eva, what kind of people is Seth drawn to, or is Seth attracted to a collective group around the world? Seth is drawn... It's not really Seth being drawn to people, it's people being drawn to Seth. So Seth attracts open-minded people who are looking to improve their lives and are at the point in their life where they're ready to hear it. I'm not gonna... This isn't gonna resonate with anyone who's never heard of law of attraction and who is in a negative place. Someone who's never read any of this, never read any Esther, any of the original material, anything, they might stumble upon it and it pique their interest because they're ready to hear it. So it's people who are ready and who are wanting to expand, who are finding Seth. Eva, what does Seth and other teachers in non-physical want for us here now? What is the ideal version for humanity from the non-physical perspective? Pretty much to forget everything you've known and been taught other than law of attraction. And to realize that, like, your life on Earth is temporary, and it's kind of like a playground. It's not real, really. It's after you transition where it's real. And that you're here for a reason. You're here to work on certain skills and get certain experiences out of this. And to focus on what it is that you enjoy, what it is that you want to do, and do it now, because before you know it, you'll be gone, and this specific experience might not be available to you again. It might be similar, you might be able to relive the same life in a similar way, but the exact conditions will vary. So just cherish what you have while you have it, and to keep improving on what you do have, to continue asking for what you want, and to not think of it as being selfish, just as utilizing your time while you're here and getting everything it is that you sought when you came out of this life now. Brenda, I've been told over and over for forgiveness because it means nothing in the long term. Is this true? If you're supposed to forgive someone, it doesn't really matter other than the energy behind it. So if you really resent someone, you're really holding on to anger, well, that's negative energy that you're holding with you. What does it serve you? Absolutely nothing. So you might as well release it. Maybe you forgive, but you don't forget, as others like to say. You learn from the experience is more what we're looking for. Maybe fine, you forgive them, but you don't lend them your car again because they scratched the door when they borrowed it. Getting forgiveness from someone, you can release it. You can say, I'm at peace with what I did. I attempted to apologize. They didn't take my apology, but I'm okay with that. Because if you are longing and longing for their apology, for their acceptance of your apology, maybe you never get it, and maybe there's this piece of you that's always struggling and reaching for that. Then there's this energy around you that's never fulfilled. So yes, forgiveness doesn't need it. And where is it? You don't need, like, okay, this whole thing with manners too, that's all Think of the movie The Invention of Lying, where everybody just speaks their mind. Yes, some parts are a little awkward to you, but if you grew up in that world, it would be totally normal. So, manners and being polite and forgiveness and all that, it's just made up stuff. You don't need any of it. Okay. Rocky, why does Rennie have a cough? She has your guidance, Seth, and is a spiritual teacher. Why can she release it by the end of the session? It is mostly gone. She knows how annoying it is. So instead of being annoyed by it, it has to be this. Okay, we're good now. I get it. Go away. It can't be this, like, I fucking hate this cough. Because that just resists. It has to be this. I want to feel better. I want to feel good. Be gone now. And that's when it will go.
Okay. Yeah, I know Jane Roberts had a lot of the same things where she would get sick quite often and or would have smoker's cough and stuff like that. And I know during the original Seth material you gave processes on how to release it as well. Okay. Thank you.
Eva, do you have new exercises to teach us for getting into a better feeling place faster? Buy the book. Positive affirmations taped up on your wall are really good. So, what I focus on grows. Thoughts become things. If I can see it in my mind, I can hold it in my hand. Anything like that, anything with just like a pretty picture and just write the words out yourself with it, it's good to have around you, even if you don't make the effort to read it daily. If you just have it subconsciously around you, that's what you're going to focus on. There are many more money processes, but we'll have to write those down in the book before we can share them. There's health ones, there's how to manifest better relationships, how to, there's more to the emotional scale that is missed that will be expanded on. But basically, writing gratitude lists, writing intention lists for the next day, those are the easiest ways to get what you want quickest. Yes.
I think that's your hour.
Do you have one more?
Why do a lot of the same questions keep coming up? And
Well, different people are tuning in. But also, it's just people aren't hearing it because, as Eva pointed out, they need a process for it. So, or they need to just practice the processes that have already been given with more vigor.
okay.
But generally, people all want the same things, so health, wealth, happiness, relationships. Those are always going to be the four biggest topics. It's just the specific questions will change about them.
Okay. Very good. Thank you very much, Seth.
Yes.
Well, that's your 7:05, so that's your hour gone.
Time flies when you're having fun. Okay. Until tomorrow.
What's happening tomorrow?
Book dictation.
Okay.
Bye. Bye.